What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto's own family neglected him after Kurama was split among his siblings? Part 3. If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description box to original creator of this beautiful creation. Team 12 and Tazuna. The 5 shinobi and 1 civilian had continued on with their mission and began to come near a port. We are nearing the port everyone. Once there, a friend of mine will lead us to the land of waves. Tazuna said. Wait, do you mean that the land of waves isn't a place anyone can just walk to? Yakumo asked. Yes Yakumo, the land of waves is an island near the land of fire and lightning. I assume the bridge Tazuna wants to build will connect his country to the land of fire. Rin answered. Makes sense. All 3 genin said in their head. After a few more moments go by, Naruto begins to hear something in the bushes and launches a kunai at it to see what was in the bushes. After he threw his kunai, a white bunny head came out and ran away quickly. A white bunny. That should be possible. It's not even winter. Naruto, Rin, and Anko had thought in their heads. Naruto, you almost killed that poor bunny. How could you? Yakumo said as she feared for the bunny and hated how uncaring Naruto was. But before Naruto could answer, Rin and Anko made everyone duck down to the ground as a large sword got sent flying their way. Who threw that giant sword at us? Yakumo asked as she slowly got up. Look up on that tree and you will see. Anko said as everyone looked at the tree right behind them. And on that tree stood a tall and muscular man with spiky black hair and bandages all over his mouth. You're Zabuza Momochi, aren't you? Anko asked cautiously. Zabuza then looks at all of the people beneath him and narrows his eyes. No wonder the demon brothers lost. Who knew they would face Rin Nohara, the mistress of poisons, and Anko Mitarashi, the snake queen? 2 a ranked shinobi, Zabuza said. And you're Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the mist. Rin and Anko said. This is going to be difficult. I can hold my own against the both of them individually, but together it is impossible, unless I can use it. Zabuza thought in his head. What are you here for, Zabuza Momochi? Anko said as she already had a feeling of knowing what the answer would be. No point in lying now. Zabuza thought. I am here to kill the old man behind you. Zabuza stated as he pointed towards Tazuna. How predictable. Naruto, Rin, Anko, Satsuki, and Tazuna thought. Well, I am sorry Zabuza, but we just can't let you do that. You see, our job here is to protect him at all costs. Rin said as she tried to reason with Zabuza and have him go away. And mine's is to kill him. Zabuza as he and Rin stared intently at each other. Zabuza then jumps down and prepares to fight. Although I can't win against these 2, I can at least stall them a bit for Haku and that bitch to kill the man. Zabuza thought as he pulled out 2 kunai. Does he really believe he could beat the both of them at the same time? Naruto said to himself. Naruto, Satsuki, and Yakumo, get back and escort Tazuna to the port immediately. Rin ordered. Why sensei, I mean the both of you are strong enough to take him down, right? Yakumo yelled in worry of her senseis. Although that may be true Yakumo, there is still no guarantee of you guys' safety. As your sensei, I have to put you guys above myself. Rin stated. Yeah, go you 3. Let us handle this. Anko ordered. Team 12 nodded slowly and left with Tazuna. Now let's do this Zabuza. Anko said as all 3 shinobi prepared to fight. Those kids leaving won't make a difference. That man will be dead soon. Zabuza stated. We'll see about that. Rin said as she and Anko charged at Zabuza. Team 12 and Tazuna. Hey Naruto, do you think we should really leave them behind? Yakumo asked in a worried tone. Yeah, those 2 will be fine. They're a ranked shinobi after all. Naruto said. He's right Yakumo. Those 2 will be fine. Satsuki said, trying to cheer Yakumo up. Yeah, you guys are right. Yakumo said as the 4 of them continued on. Rin and Anko. It had been a few minutes since the battle started as it is shown Zabuza having his Kabikuri and some cuts and bruises. Rin and Anko on the other hand only had a few scratches and some dust on them. Give it up Zabuza. It is very clear now that you are outmatched. Rin said, not wanting to cause any more bloodshed and violence. Zabuza in the other hand was puffing out breaths and glared at the 2 women. I just have to last a little bit longer for the plan to launch into action. Zabuza said to himself. Water style. Water dragon jutsu. Zabuza yelled out as a large dragon appeared out of the lake and attacked the Jonin-sensei. Serpent Barrage. Anko yelled as 4 snakes appeared out of her arm to attack. The 2 jutsus then clashed and cancelled each other out. Water Style. Water Sword. Zabuza yelled out as he covered his Kabikirabocho in water-styled chakra. He's definitely not gonna back down anytime soon. Anko stated as she saw Zabuza's sword cover in water-styled chakra. Then let's end this fight. Rin said as Anko charged at Zabuza. Well, I guess I will have to use this then. Anko said as a long snake appeared and popped out a sword out of its mouth. Let me handle this, Rin. Anko said with a smirk as she then grabs the sword and charges at Zabuza as the 2 shinobi then clash their blades with each other. So you have a Zanpakuto 2EH? Zabuza said it in a curious tone. Yeah, and you're lucky that I am not gonna go into Shikai. Anko said with a smirk. Well, that goes for the 2 of you as well. Zabuza said as the 2 swordsmen continued their fight. Be careful, Anko. Rin said in hope as she looked on in the battle. Team 12 and Tazuna. We're almost at the port U3. Tazuna said with a smile as he can see the port from their distance. Hold on. Naruto said as he stopped everyone and began to sense the area. Why are we stopping, Naruto? Satsuki asked in confusion. Yeah, kid, don't tell me you are having second thoughts now. Tazuna said. No, that's not it. Someone is here and they are watching us. Naruto stated, and after he finished his sentence a gust of wind bypasses them all and lands right in front of them all. What speed? Naruto thought as he soon realized that Tazuna, Satsuki, and Yakumo were still confused. So that person was so fast they didn't realize it. Naruto thought. Satsuki, Yakumo, protect Tazuna. Naruto said as he looked to see his opponent. In front of him stood a female with long red hair, black eyes, sharp teeth, 2 strangely looking swords, and a scratched headband. This is gonna be a pain. Naruto said as he came up to get a better look at the kunoichi. You sure are good, kid. You noticed me and was able to recognize that I came towards you. That's not something that happens often at all for me. The kunoichi said as she began to walk towards Naruto. Naruto ignores her compliments and sees her walk closer to the group. I assume you are here to kill Tazuna. Naruto said. Right on the money, brat. The kunoichi said as the 2 came closer. The name is Amayuri Ringo, and you are? Amayuri asked as she waited for her answer. Naruto. Naruto said blandly. Since you look smart, I will assume you know the answer to your previous question. Amayuri said. And, Naruto said while staring at Amayuri. Since you're so smart, do you really think it is a good idea to fight me? Amayuri asked with a smile. I never asked to fight. You just assumed I did, and I also highly doubt you will let us leave so freely. Naruto said back. Amayuri then smiles even more than before. You know what? I like you, brat. How about you ditch them and join me? Amayuri said. You already know the answer to that. Naruto said. Well, that's too bad then, but I do have a mission to complete, so move out of the way. Amayuri said as she pulled out her 2 swords. I don't feel like it. Naruto said calmly. The die. Amayuri said as she tried to cut Naruto in half with her lightning-coated sword. Naruto quickly moves back and gets his team to move out of the way before a slash of lightning hit them. So you saw through me, huh? Amayuri said as she then became even more impressed with Naruto. Naruto quickly gets up and wipes the dust off of himself. He then turns around and looks at his 2 teammates and Tazuna on the ground. The 2 of you need to take Tazuna and head back to Rin and Anko-sensei. Naruto said in an orderly tone. You can't be serious, Naruto. Satsuki yelled as she got up. There is no way we are leaving you here to fight that thing. Satsuki yelled as she pointed towards Amayuri. You guys don't have a choice here. She won't let us leave, and our senseis should be about done or almost done with their fight against Zabuza. Someone needs to stall for time, and I am the best option, so unless you have something to say otherwise, then go. Naruto said. Nice job, brat. You thought out the best solution for your team, but that won't help you as I will destroy you before you make another thought. Amayuri said. Go. Naruto said calmly as Satsuki, Yakumo and Tazuna nodded and left to go towards Rin and Anko. Now it's just you and me. Naruto said as prepared to fight Amayuri. Not for long though, brat. Amayuri said as she coated her blades with lightning and charged towards Naruto. Naruto quickly pulls out a Rasengan to block the attack. Rasengan. Lightning style. lightning slash. Both fighters clashed with their jutsus and caused a giant explosion. Satsuki, Yakumo and Tazuna. A large explosions could be heard as all three turned to look at the explosion. That's Naruto. Yakumo yelled in shock and worry for her teammate. I have to go save him, Yakumo said as she tried to run but was then held back by Satsuki. You can't go, Yakumo, it's too dangerous. Satsuki yelled. I don't care. I have to save my best friend's brother. Yakumo yelled as she managed to get out of Satsuki's grip. But her freedom did not last long as she was then tackled to the ground. You can't go, Yakumo, Satsuki said as she kept Yakumo down. Are you really okay with leaving our teammate behind to die? Yakumo yelled. Satsuki then looks taken aback by her teammate's words but manages to keep her composure a few moments later. No, that's not it, Yakumo. It was his choice to stay behind and we have to respect that. And what can the both of us do against that woman anyways, huh? Satsuki yelled. Yakumo then calms down a bit before yelling again. It doesn't matter, Satsuki. It will be on our hand and we will be the ones that are responsible for his death. Just think of what would happen if Lord Hokage and his family found out we left him behind to die. I also wouldn't be able to forgive myself if I had the chance to save a friend and not take it because I am scared. I will go help Naruto. Yakumo yelled as she broke out of Satsuki's grip again and ran as fast as she could. Satsuki was now on her knees as she began to ponder the words of her teammate. Did I make the right decision to run back to Sensei? Satsuki thought in her head. Tazuna then sees how hard Satsuki is taking things and puts a hand on her shoulder. It's all right, girl. Don't worry about me. Worry about your friends, family, and yourself. I will just find another way to save my country from Gato's tyranny. Tazuna said in a sincere tone. In Tazuna's eyes, Satsuki and Yakumo were a lot like his daughter. Satsuki had his daughter's hair and Yakumo had his daughter's kindness. So wanting to give up on the mission was not an easy decision, but he would rather do that than hurt the young. Satsuki then stands up and looks down at the ground with her fists clenched. No, Tazuna, we will not abandon this mission. My team will defeat Zabuza, Amayuri, and Gato to save your country. I swear we will, Satsuki said with determined eyes. That look, it reminds me of Inari and Kaiza. Tazuna thought to himself in a shocked tone. Satsuki then ran after Yakumo with Tazuna in tow. Rin and Anko. What the hell was that? They all thought when they heard a loud explosion. Wait, could that explosion have hit our students? Rin asked out loud. Anko then looks at Rin with a serious expression. Let's go, Anko and Rin said as they both shunshin to the exploded area. Is this your doing, Amayuri? Zabuza thought in rage. I'll continue this battle later. Zabuza said to himself as he shunshined himself to where Naruto and Amayuri to. But in the trees, someone else did the same. Naruto and Amayuri. The huge explosion sent the both of them back. With a bunch of dust, ripped clothes, and some bruises on both fighters, it was clear that the explosion did some damage. Not bad, brat, Amayuri complimented with a smile. Naruto on the other hand remained his composure and was in deep thought. That was until he felt 4 chakra signatures. Rin and Anko then appeared behind him and Zabuza had appeared behind Amayuri. The other one was in the trees and hiding out of sight. Naruto. Rin and Anko yelled in worry as they ran and hugged Naruto to death. What the hell? Naruto thought in his head as he got a bunch of hugs, kisses, smooches and just overall was being crushed. Are you okay, Naruto? Rin and Anko asked. Naruto then gets up and sighs. Yeah, I am fine, Naruto said as he patted himself to get rid of some dust. Thank goodness, Rin and Anko said as they both hugged Naruto once more. While Naruto was getting love, Zabuza and Amayuri on the other hand were glaring at each other. Why are you here, Zabuza? Shouldn't you be fighting the two behind me? Amayuri asked enraged that Zabuza, Rin and Anko had interfered with her battle. I'm only here because they came here, you idiot. And besides, you can't even take out a little kid over there, so don't think you can act all high and mighty. Zabuza said as he pulled out his Kabikirabochi and placed it towards Amayuri's neck. If you wanna fight, we can fight later, Zabuza. But right now, I want to beat the kid. So if you can get those two away from him and let us have our match, it will be very much appreciated. Amayuri said as she moved the Kabikirabocho away from her neck with one of her swords. Fine, but once you beat the brat, don't interfere with my battle, understand? Zabuza said. Whatever Zabuza, just make sure that you don't get in my way. Amayuri said as the two began to face their opponents. Naruto, Rin and Anko. We have company. Naruto said as Rin and Anko looked to see Amayuri Ringo and Zabuza Momochi standing side by side. This just got even worse. All three of them thought. I'll take on Amayuri, the both of you can take on Zabuza. Naruto said as he got up to confront Amayuri. Are you sure, Naruto? You do know that she was a former member or the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist and wields the sword, Kiba. Rin said. Kiba huh? Naruto said as he began to think of his classmate Kiba. I am definitely kicking his ass in the Chunin exams. Naruto thought as he prepared for his fight. Don't worry, I got this. Naruto said as he gave his senseis a thumbs up. Sorry if our match got interfered by our comrades Amayuri. Naruto said. No worries brat, but I am surprised to see you come back for round 2. Amayuri said as she walked up to Naruto as well. You want to fight or not? Naruto asked in a bored tone. You already know my answer. Amayuri said as she charged at Naruto. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto yelled as many clones popped out and began attacking Amayuri. What type of jutsu is that? Everyone thought. Never in their lives have they seen a clone jutsu be able to move and attack. Of course Naruto can do that. Rin and Anko said proudly. All the clones were currently attacking and disappearing. So if you damage the clone enough it will disappear. Everyone thought. But as the clones kept dying, smokescreens and clouds of white appeared when they did. Now's my chance. Naruto said as he formed a Rasengan blast. What the hell is that? Everyone aside from Naruto and Amayuri thought. So cool. Rin and Anko squealed. Here goes. Naruto said as he prepared to fire the jutsu. Watch out Ameiyuri. Zabuza yelled as Naruto had released his jutsu. But what Zabuza did not know was that Amayuri had already seen it coming. Lightning style. Thunder shield. Amayuri said as she stabbed her 2 swords into the ground and brought up a giant shield made of lighting. Her lightning jutsus are insane. Naruto had thought. Let's see if my shield can defend against your jutsu. Amayuri said with a smile as the Rasengan blast was nearing. After Amayuri's words, the 2 jutsus collided and made another huge explosion. An explosion that blew everyone away and made a large crater in the ground. But as everyone got blown away, they all quickly got back and maintained their composure. That was quite the explosion there. Naruto said to himself. Naruto has 2 amazing jutsus I have never seen before. Rin said as she looked at Naruto with admiration and lust. That stud is making me wet damn it. Anko said in her head as she felt turned on by Naruto's powerful jutsus. Wait, I wonder if he could use his clone jutsu and gangbang me? Anko thought. Zabuza and Amayuri. Both swordsmen got sent flying but quickly came back to where they were before. Who the hell is that brat? Zabuza said as he looked at Naruto. I don't know but he is mine so back off. Amayuri said. Now it's about time I ended this. Amayuri said as she charged at Naruto again. Here she comes. Naruto said to himself as he charges at her as well. But before the two could battle they were stopped by Zabuza throwing his sword in the middle of them. You two had your fun. Now it's about me and Anko having our match. The winner will decide the fate of Tazuna and whether or not he can be escorted to the land of waves. Zabuza said as he picked up his sword and got ready to face Anko. What the hell do you think you are doing, Zabuza? Amayuri yelled angrily. Relax, Amayuri. Even if we lose, you can fight the brat another time. Zabuza said. Amayuri then growled and looked at Naruto. You were good, brat. The next time we meet is when we get to determine who is really stronger. Amayuri said. Sure, Naruto said back. After that Amayuri walked to a boulder and sat down on it to watch the fight. Do your best, Anko. Rin cheered. Naruto and Rin were currently standing next to each other in front of a large forest. Satsuki, Yakumo, and Tazuna. Yakumo had finally reached the explosion site and saw Anko and Zabuza about to fight, and Naruto, Rin, and Amayuri standing on the sidelines. Wait, Naruto. Yakumo yelled as she ran straight to where Naruto was. Naruto, you're okay. Yakumo yelled loudly as she ran up to hug Naruto. Yakumo. Naruto thought before she crushed him with a giant hug. Yeah, I am fine. Naruto said as he tried to get Yakumo off of him. Standing beside Naruto stood a smiling Rin. We might have a new member to our family, Naruto. Rin thought in her head about her, Yakumo, Anko and Naruto in bed together. Wait, I am on a mission, I can't be having UAL thoughts. Rin said in her head. So how are you, Naruto? Yakumo asked as she stopped hugging Naruto. I have been good, Yakumo. Naruto replied back. Oh, thank goodness. I was worried when I heard the explosion. Yakumo said kindly. I am also ashamed to have left you by yourself, Naruto. Yakumo said in a sad tone. Naruto begins to get taken aback by Yakumo's words. He had never realized how much Yakumo had cared about him. In their months as teammates, he was always cold and uncaring to her, but now it was different. He wanted to be more for her. Be more for his team. And most importantly, be more for himself. All these years of isolation and being alone with Inky a fox to talk to got lonely. And all of these emotions began to hit him all at once. Yakumo, Naruto said. Yes, Naruto. Yakumo said back. I am sorry for how cold I was to you. I know I should have been more open to you and Satsuki, and I just wanted to apologize for my actions. Naruto said as he bowed down to Yakumo. Everyone seeing Naruto became astonished at his words and actions. Never in their lives would they see Naruto apologize to someone. But no one was more shocked than Yakumo herself. What is going on here? Yakumo asked in a shocked tone. She would have never guessed in a million years that Naruto would apologize and bow down to her. Stop it, Naruto, Yakumo said. If anyone should be apologizing, it should be me. Yakumo said loudly. Now it was Naruto's turn to look at Yakumo shocked. I know we all did terrible things to you in the past and that I was being a terrible person. I would always leave you alone, and in all actuality, I was scared of you. Your family didn't help you and your sibling bad-mouthed you to no end. We would always cause trouble, play pranks, and do illegal things and blame it on you because we thought of it as fun. I also admit that I did terrible things to fit in, and for that I am sorry. And ever since we became teammates, I realized my mistake and I feel very guilty for it, Naruto. Although you might no forgive me, I will always help you no matter what. Yakumo said as she was now crying and bowing her head down. It's fine, Yakumo, Naruto said. Yakumo then looks up at Naruto with a confused expression. No, it's not, Naruto. It's not fine that me and many hurt and wronged you for so long. Yakumo yelled. Naruto just sighs as he expected that answer. Look, if you want to apologize, apologize after the mission is over. Naruto said, which calmed Yakumo down. Okay, Yakumo, as she then turned to see Anko and Zabuza ready to fight. Anko and Zabuza. The two fighters don't waste another second and immediately charge at each other. With their swords clashing and sparks flying. The two then fight with their swords only and see who is the better swordsman. She's good but not as good as me though, Zabuza said as he swung his Kabikurikochi once more at Anko. If this battle keeps on going, it will be decided by who the better swordsman is or by one outsmarting the other. Anko thought as she blocked all of Zabuza's attacks. Amayuri. Although my fight will be postponed, I at least get to see two skilled swordsmen going at it. Amayuri thought as she watched the battle. Team 12, I can't see their movements. Yakumo said as she tried to watch the battle. Rin then puts a hand on Yakumo's shoulder. It's okay that you can't see their movements yet, Yakumo, but keep on training and you will be able to, K. Rin said with a smile. They're here, Naruto said as to their right, they could see a running Satsuki and Tazuna in tow. Hey guys, over here. Satsuki shouted once she saw her team. Hey Satsuki. Yakumo yelled as Satsuki ran over to them. I am glad you're safe. Both girls said as they hugged each other tightly once Satsuki reached them. What's going on here? Satsuki asked in a confused tone once she saw Anko and Zabuza fighting. Those two are fighting to see who is stronger, and if Anko wins then we can go escort Zabuza to the Land of Waves. Rin explained. But what happens if we are to reach the Land of Waves, sensei? Satsuki asked. Well, I don't know yet. But whatever the case is, we must be prepared. Rin said as everyone nodded to her words. After Rin's explanation, a tired Tazuna shows up and stands next to Team 12. Anko versus Zabuza. The battle had been going on for minutes and the two shinobi have not backed down yet. At this rate, I will have to go into Shikai to win this. Both shinobi thought as the fight continued. Zabuza then leapt back and out his Kabikirabocho on his shoulders and made a hand sign. It's about time I ended this. Zabuza said as a great boost of chakra appeared from him. Amayuri. So he's going into Shikai, Amayuri thought with interest. Anko versus Zabuza. He's gonna go into Shikai. Anko thought before she prepared to do the same. Slice through the mist, Kabikari. Zabuza yelled as a giant mist began to appear from his sword and cover everything in a 1,000-meter radius. My Shikai creates a giant mist that shuts off all my opponent's senses, and I am the only one that stays the same in Shikai. The only way out of this is if you are able to land a hit on me or defeat me in battle. Zabuza thought to himself. I guess it's my turn then. Anko thought as she prepared to go into Shikai. Slither away, hubby. Anko yelled as her sword turned into snake and is able to move like a whip. With my Shikai, it turns into a 20 feet long snake, and if the snake touches you, you will have poison on the spot that I hit you with that drains your chakra and poisons you and can have many different effects of my choosing. Anko thought as she began to whip her Shikai around herself. This isn't good, damn it. From what I have heard, a touch from her snake and it is over. Zabuza said as he ran around her to try and find an opening. Let's hope my defense can keep him away. Anko thought as she swung around her Shikai even more. There are no openings in her defense. Zabuza thought. Let's see if this works. Zabuza said as he preformed a few hand signs. Water style. Giant twin dragon jutsu. Zabuza yelled as a chunk of his mist was used to create the dragons and launched towards Anko. The two dragons then come near Anko and are about to clash. Anko's Shikai and Zabuza's jutsu then came into contact. Anko's Shikai sliced through the jutsu without effort and the water jutsu evaporated. Damn it, Zabuza thought as he saw his jutsu get sliced trough easily. I guess I will now have to take a more direct approach. Zabuza said as he charged at Anko. Zabuza charges at Anko and manages to block off some of her Shikai attacks. I better end this quickly. Zabuza said as he prepared to strike Anko down but got stopped along the way. What the hell? Zabuza said as 10 Senbon needles had hit him and knocked him out. With Zabuza now knocked out, its Shikai release had now ended and the mist had disappeared. What happened? Were the thoughts of everyone as they saw Zabuza fall to the ground with many Senbon needles covering him. How the hell did he get covered in Senbon needles? Anko asked in confusion as she tried to look around for answers. A moment passes by and a shinobi jumps towards Zabuza. Thank you for weakening him for me. The shinobi merely stated as he bent down and touched Zabuza. Who the hell are you? Anko yelled out. Oh, forgive my intrusion. I am an Anbu from the Hidden Mist and I was tasked with killing Zabuza and giving his dead body back to the village. The shinobi said. Oh, okay then. Although I don't like the fact that you interfered with my fight, if it is a personal matter with your village, I won't stop you. Anko said as she walked back to her team. And what will you do with the other one? Anko asked, and once she turned around everyone was gone. I guess that guy took out Amayuri too. Anko said. Well guys, let's go. Anko said and everyone went to the port as planned. The port. We are here at the port now and there is my friend. Tazuna said as he pointed to his friend who would help him get to the land of waves. Everyone ready to go? Tazuna's friend asked and everyone nodded. Then put all your belongings and yourself on the boat and we will be going. Tazuna's friend said. Everyone quickly put all their stuff and themselves into the boat and the boat began to go. Ocean. Why is the ocean so foggy here? Yakumo asked. Well little girl, the ocean foggy here because one of Zabuza's men used a powerful jutsu to cover a part of the ocean. Tazuna's friend said. It must be Zabuza's doing. Everyone thought. In just 20 minutes we will be at the land of waves. Tazuna's friend said as they continued on. So how will we take down Gato guys? Satsuki asked. Good question Satsuki. Rin said as everyone began to think. So Tazuna, what do you know about Gato? Anko asked hoping to get some answers. Tazuna then looked at Anko and spoke. Well Gato is a very evil dictator who only cares about himself. He loves money, torturing people, killing people, women, doing things to women, and his main targets are young girls. Tazuna said as all the girls on board felt uncomfortable. If Gato mainly targeted young girls, Satsuki and Yakumo would be big targets. There was no doubt if those two got captured, Gato would definitely breed and break them. Satsuki and Yakumo were now scared even more than before. Getting caught meant their lives were over. Rin and Anko seeing how Satsuki and Yakumo's expression began to comfort them. Rin and Anko did not look good either. The only person allowed to fuck and breed them was Naruto. They would be damned if another man did it. Gato also takes in others' suffering. But physically, he is short, unfit, and has his men do the work for him. Tazuna explained. So he is a coward. Rin said. Yeah, he is, and if you guys can't stop him, not only will most of you become his property, the boy will be dead. Tazuna said. We will win this no matter what. Everyone thought. After that a few minutes went by and they were seconds away from the land of waves. We are about to reach our destination. Tazuna's friend said as they almost reached their destination. Once they reached the land of waves, everyone got up and followed Tazuna to his house. Team 12 had been looking around the country and seeing how it was. The country was filled with fog, abandoned buildings, poor people outside, and barely any food. How could anyone do this? They all thought as they were getting closer to Tazuna's house. A couple minutes later, Tazuna and Team 12 were standing right in front of a house. Tsunami dear, can you open up the door? Tazuna yelled as he knocked on the door. A beautiful woman then opens up the door. She had long dark blue hair, a pink shirt with red sleeves and color, and long blue pants. Hi father, Tsunami said happily and hugged Tazuna. I am so glad you made it back safely. Tsunami said. She then looked behind him to see 2 women, 2 girls, and 1 handsome boy. Wait, handsome, Tsunami thought as she blushed and snapped out of it. It seems Naruto will be getting another woman to have fun with. Rin and Anko mused with a smile. Speaking of Naruto, I wonder if we can have here and not get caught. Anko thought. Hello everyone, my name is Tsunami and I am Tazuna's daughter. I am thankful to you all for escorting him home safely. Tsunami said kindly. No problem, everyone said. Now come inside everyone, Tsunami said and everyone came inside. The team then put their belongings down in the living room and rested for a bit. A little boy who looks no older than 8 comes out and stares at Team 12 with hatred. Who the hell are they? Inari yelled while pointing at Team 12. Language Inari, Tsunami scolded. Those people are guests and they have come here to save us from Gato and his men. Tsunami said. So they're like heroes huh? Inari yelled. Yes son, they will be our heroes. Tsunami said. Well you guys should just give up and leave. Inari yelled before going back into his room. Everyone aside from Naruto was shocked by his attitude. I am sorry everyone, Inari just isn't used to you guys yet. I am sure you will soon. Tsunami said before heading to the kitchen. That is not something you say to a stranger, especially a kid. He must have had a hero in his life and something happened to his hero. Naruto thought. Well everyone, I will be cooking dinner so I hope y'all are hungry. Tsunami said as she began to start cooking. Dinner. Dinner is ready everyone, Tsunami yelled as everyone then headed to the dining table. On the table were bread, vegetables, and meat. Inari then comes out as angry as he was before and began to eat like everyone else. So how is the food everyone? Tsunami asked as she hoped everyone liked it. It's incredible Tsunami. Rin complimented. Agreed. Anko said as everyone agreed as well. Well thank you so much. Tsunami thanked as she began to eat as well. You guys shouldn't have bothered yourselves to come here. Inari said. Everyone then looks at him with a confused expression. What do you mean Inari? Do you not want them to help us? Tsunami said in a worried tone. There is no point in them helping us mom. They will all fail like everyone else did. Inari yelled. No we want kid. Satsuki yelled back. She was about to yell more but was stopped by Anko. Everyone that had tried to help us has failed. It will be no different with them here. Heck, most of them are female, they will suffer like the others. Inari yelled. Stop this Inari. Tsunami yelled. No mom, there are no heroes in this world. Our country won't be saved and these guys will end up doing more harm than good. So just give up and go away. Inari yelled out in rage before going outside. Where are you going Inari? Tsunami yelled. Outside. Inari said back and slammed the door. Tsunami was about to follow Inari but was stopped by Tazuna. Why are you stopping me father? Tsunami yelled. Just let the boy be Tsunami. You can't help him right now as you will only do more harm to him than good. Tazuna said. Besides, it's not the first time this had happened. Tazuna said before letting go of his daughter. Tsunami then sat back down and ate but the mood was not the same as before. Nighttime. Okay everyone, we have 2 rooms available for you all. Feel free to choose which one you will stay in. Tsunami said as everyone was upstairs. Me, Rin, and Naruto will be in one room and the 2 of you can be in the other room. Anko said. Why is Naruto in your room, sensei? Yakumo asked, a bit jealous that Naruto would be with Anko and Rin. Well, young girls like their privacy and you wouldn't want a boy looking at you naked, right? Anko said. Yakumo had no choice to agree, as in she did not want her senseis to know that she had developed a crush on him. Yes, sensei. Yakumo said before going to her room. Now let's go, Rin. Anko said as she and Rin went into their room. Satsuki went into her room with Yakumo as well and was a bit disappointed in not having Naruto in her room. Naruto on the other hand went outside to where Inari was. Everyone was currently waiting for Tsunami to finish cooking breakfast. Naruto was sitting in between Rin and Anko with Satsuki and Yakumo across from him. Inari and Tazuna were sitting at both ends of the table. Everyone was talking except for Naruto and surprisingly Inari. All night Inari had pondered on Naruto's words and kept asking himself if he was right. Is he brave enough to fight? How should he fight? What should he do? Were all questions in Inari's head. Naruto was currently looking at Inari and knew full well on what Inari was thinking. It seems my plan worked. Getting him to question himself and think about what to do will help him in this country. Although I could defeat Gato and his men myself, having a country stand up and fight against its oppressors will be better for everyone. Naruto thought. That's right, kid. I see you have been doing well for yourself lately. Kurama teased as he saw what Naruto had done. Oh hey furball. It's been a while, buddy. Naruto said. That it has been. Kurama said back. So what have you been up to? Naruto asked. I have just been catching up on sleeping. Kurama said. And like I said before, you have been doing well for yourself. Kurama teased. Yeah, these past few days have been good, as having with Rin, Anko and now Tsunami has been great. Naruto said cheerfully. Yeah, I can see that. Kurama said happily for his jailer. So did you sleep well? Naruto asked. Kurama then sighs. Of course not, kid. Everything you feel, I can feel. Those girls sure are good at. This is the first I have had for the first time I had in 100 years. Kurama said. Wait, you had before? Naruto asked out loud in his mindscape. Kurama then chuckled. Of course I have, kid. But it was a long time ago. A time before the Senju and Uchiha clan fought. Kurama said. That long ago, huh? Naruto said. Yep. Keep up the good work, kid. Getting a harem, becoming a powerful shinobi, and being able to go toe-to-toe with a member is no easy feat for someone your age. Kurama complimented. Well, all of this is all because of you, furball. Naruto said as he rubbed the back of his head. Of course it is, kid. Now have a good breakfast. Kurama said before he disconnected from the link. Goodbye to you too, furball. Naruto thought before he exited out the mindscape as well. Naruto then sees that Tsunami is still cooking and waits. So everyone, how was your sleep? Tazuna asked. It was good for me. Satsuki said calmly. Yeah, it was good for me too. Yakumo said cheerfully. And what about the three of you? Tazuna asked as he looked at Naruto, Rin and Anko. As much as the three would have thought that saying they had all night would be funny, it would cause problems and the two women would end up being killed by an angry Kushina. We had a good night's rest, Tazuna. The five of us all thank you for your kindness and hospitality. Rin said, and every member of Team 12 nodded in agreement. Tazuna then chuckles and rubs the back of his head in embarrassment. There is no need to thank me. If anything, I should be thanking all of you for protecting me and coming here to free my country. So if anyone should be expressing their gratitude, it should be me. Tazuna said as he stood up and bowed. Breakfast is ready, Tsunami said as she brought out plates of pancakes, eggs, and bottles of milk. Thank you very much, Tsunami. Everyone cheered before digging in. No need to thank me. Just eat, Tsunami said as she sat beside Satsuki and her son Inari. Milk, huh? Naruto should be drinking my milk instead of a cow's. Anko, Rin, and Tsunami thought. Everyone then ate their breakfast and Team 12 shared their stories about missions they have been on and what Konoha is like. After that, Team 12 went outside to train. Outside, all 5 members of Team 12 were currently outside in a forest and were going to start training. With everyone having a good stretch, they were about to begin. Hey Anko-sensei, can I ask you a question? Satsuki asked as she stood next to Naruto, who was in the middle with Yakumo to his right. Sure, Satsuki, what would you like to ask? Anko said. Well, I saw the sword you were using looked weird and Zabuza had his sword blast out mist while yours turned into a snake that can be used as a whip. The only other time I have seen anything like that was from my brother. So I want to know what that sword is. Is it the same type of sword as my brother's? Satsuki asked. Naruto and Yakumo were also interested as well and waited for their sensei to answer. Anko prepares for a long explanation. Well Satsuki, this sword here is called a Zanpakuto. Every sword in the world is actually called a Zanpakuto. No matter the shape, size, look, or whoever made it. The Zanpakuto is a sword where the user connects with their sword and later the sword becomes a part of the user's soul. The Zanpakuto and its abilities are all based on the user's soul. No two Zanpakutos will ever be the same. If you are able to connect with your Zanpakuto, you can enter to two higher stages called Shikai and Bankai. Those two stages can increase your power depending on your Zanpakuto. If you guys want to know more, seek me or someone who is experienced with using a Zanpakuto like me. Anko finished. Does Rin-sensei have a Zanpakuto? Yakumo asked. Rin then nods no. I don't have a Zanpakuto Yakumo as I don't really want to use one. Rin said. But why sensei, if having a Zanpakuto increases shinobi's power, should every shinobi strive to have it? Yakumo said. Good point. Everyone thought as they heard Yakumo's point. Well Yakumo, the reason not every shinobi has a Zanpakuto can be explained with different reasons. Anko said. What reasons? Satsuki asked. Well the first reason is that many shinobi and kunoichi died too early to be able to connect with their Zanpakutos. The second reason is that many shinobi are arrogant and want the quickest and easiest route to attaining Shikai and Bankai. They try and force themselves and the sword to higher power. They also don't believe in connecting and bonding with their Zanpakuto. Anko said. Makes sense. All three genin said. The third reason is that achieving Shikai and Bankai takes years of training to achieve and master. It took me a year to achieve Shikai and 10 years to achieve Bankai. Anko said as she added on another reason why having a Zanpakuto is rare. The fourth reason is because of chakra. It takes a large amount of chakra to achieve and maintain one's Zanpakuto. For instance, I can only maintain my Shikai form for an entire day and Bankai for 12 hours if I don't waste any chakra beforehand. You may think that is a lot, but many shinobi end up using large amounts of chakra before using their Shikai or Bankai, so they end up not being able to maintain it for very long. Anko explained. The fifth reason is that only a select few have a chance at getting far with their Zanpakuto. Only 1 in 20 million have a chance of achieving Shikai, and that is only Shikai. Only 1 out of 120 million have a chance at achieving Bankai. Satsuki and Yakumo go wide-eyed at seeing how low the chances are of achieving Shikai. Naruto on the other hand just remains emotionless. As expected, Naruto thought as he expected for the chances of anyone attaining a Shikai or Bankai was low. And the final reason is that some shinobi and kunoichi just don't feel like using one. Anko finished. Well after hearing all of that, I now want a Zanpakuto sensei. Satsuki said in a determined tone. I like that attitude brat. We will see if you can really do what you say. Anko complimented. And what about the two of you? Anko asked. Well I want to focus more on my genjutsu and my physical abilities, so that will be a no from me sensei. Yakumo said shyly. Rin and Anko nod at her words and look towards Naruto. I am interested in this Zanpakuto as well. I'll train for it, but I want to do it myself. Naruto said. And why is that Naruto? I can help you and give you a little incentive. Anko said a bit seductively at the end. No thanks sensei. I learn best alone. Naruto said, which made Anko pout. Now that I explained what a Zanpakuto is, let me tell you what Rin and I believe to be important. Anko said with a quick change in tone as she went from cheerful and playful to serious and stone cold. What is it sensei? Yakumo asked, a bit nervous from the way her sensei sounded. Me and Rin believe that Zabuza and Amayuri are alive. Anko said. Hearing this made Satsuki and Yakumo widen their eyes and mouths in shock. What? Both girls yelled loudly. Hearing their scream caused Anko and Rin to wince a bit and cover their ears. Why do you believe that sensei? You both said that Zabuza was dead and that Amayuri was gone, so how could you say that they are alive? Yakumo yelled. Yeah sensei, don't be ridiculous. If you're trying to scare us then you're doing a great job. Satsuki yelled in anger. Anko then quieted the both of them before they could talk even more. As I was saying before I got interrupted, me and Rin believe Zabuza and Amayuri to be alive. Normally with the hidden mist Anbu, if they ever kill a traitor, They are tasked to kill the target, slice off the head, and burn off the rest of the body. And as we all saw, that did not happen. Anko said and made everyone nod in agreement. And with the case of Amayuri, I highly doubt she would be killed so easily without putting up a fight. The way she fights would also cause a ruckus and would not go unnoticed. So the only way for Amayuri, Zabuza, and that masked shinobi to get out of there would be to fake Zabuza's death and get out while we are in shock. That would be the perfect chance for her to get out anyways. Having us focus on Zabuza and the masked shinobi would give her the perfect opportunity to get away. My guess is they planned this out from the start, or the masked nin gave the two no room to refute. Anko said as she finished her explanation. Makes sense. My guess would be that they only planned that in case Zabuza or Amayuri was in trouble or about to lose. Naruto said. So when will they come back, sensei? Satsuki asked. Judging by the way Zabuza was hit and how many senbon needles he was hit with, I would say about a week from now. Anko said. Then we have about a week to train and make up a plan to defeat those three and Gato. Satsuki said, which made everyone nod. Then let's begin the training. Rin said. After that, Team 12's training for the week had begun. Day before the week is over. Over the week, Team 12 had been training relentlessly day in and day out. All three genin having been trained to their absolute limits. With strength and conditioning, taijutsu, chakra control, meditation, and helping Zabuza and his men with building the bridge from time to time kept them busy and on guard the entire time. But for the day, everyone had the day off to rest before their next battle. Rin and Anko were helping Tsunami clean the house, Satsuki was taking a nap, Yakumo was outside drawing some paintings, and Naruto was in a grassy area surrounded by trees. Tomorrow can either end well or be a nightmare for everyone. No doubt that we have no choice to win or else I die. The girls get turned into slaves and the country gets even worse. Naruto thought. He feared of what would happen to his harem should they lose. All the girls would have been breeded non-stop and sold around the black market with wealthy dealers. The girls might even end up in enemy villages and become breed stock for them. And that was something he could not let happen. But before Naruto could think anymore, he felt someone's chakra moving towards him. Naruto quickly gets up and waits for the person to arrive. Who is here and why does the chakra feel familiar? Naruto asked as he prepared himself for who was to come. When done with that, a boy with long black hair, a pink kimono, and a basket full of flowers. Who is he? They both thought. Who are you, little one? The boy asked. I guess I should answer this guy's question. Naruto said to himself. I'll only tell you my name if you give me yours. Naruto stated. Okay then, the boy said. Naruto then sighs. My name is Naruto. Naruto said. Well, my name is Haku. Haku said with a kind smile. Weird, I have felt this chakra before. Have I met him before? Haku asked himself. That must be it. He must be that fake Anbu that took Zabuza and Amayuri. Naruto thought. So why are you here, Naruto? Haku asked with a kind tone. I am just taking some much needed rest, Haku. And in that note, why are you here? Naruto asked. Haku then looks down at his flowers and back up to Naruto. I am here to collect flowers to make someone important to me feel better. I believe flowers can help others feel better. Haku said. Must be talking about Zabuza. Naruto thought. But for some reason, I can tell he isn't lying. Naruto thought. So Haku, how much do you care for this person? Naruto asked. Haku then gets taken aback by this as he wasn't expecting to be asked a question about Zabuza. Well, Naruto, my special person means the world to me. I would do anything to keep that person safe and be whatever or whoever they need me to be. That person is my source of strength and someone that keeps me going and the light that I follow. Haku said. That person means that much, huh? Naruto said. He then began to think and thought of Rin and Anko, who were like that to him too. Without them, Naruto would have been emotionless or even worse. So to this day he would give up anything to make sure those two were happy. Do you have anyone special to you, Naruto? Haku asked. Naruto then thinks about the question and whether or not he should answer it or not. But ultimately he decided that it couldn't hurt to reveal some things about himself. Naruto had been thinking of Kurama, Rin and Anko as they were the ones to help him the most thus far. So talking about them was a no-brainer. I do, Haku. Naruto simply stated. I have two women in my life that I will love for eternity. Those two motivate me to get stronger for myself and for them. If it wasn't for those two, I don't know if I can be as happy as I am now and become a better person. Naruto said. I also have a certain fox I want reveal though. Naruto thought. Haku then nods at Naruto's words. It seems we both share something in common, Naruto. Haku said. Yeah, we sure do, Haku. Naruto nodded. You see, I believe love is everyone's main source of strength. Your loved ones and those special to you make you stronger and push you to become better. Having loved ones is something everyone should have and is where we all draw our power from. Haku said. Naruto nodded to her words. Wise words, Haku. Such power can never be achieved alone. Naruto said. Indeed, Naruto. That is why the more love you have can make you stronger. Haku said. Well, I have to get going now, Naruto. It was nice meeting you. Haku said as she bowed goodbye and left. Maybe we would have been friends in a different universe. Naruto and Haku thought as they both now knew who each other was. Well, it's time for me to head back to base. Naruto said as he turned around and left as well. Tomorrow. It was now the day as all of Team 12 is now inside Tazuna's home. The five were currently gearing up and making plans on how Yo defeat Gato and the members of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Rin then comes up to Naruto to give him an order. An order not many had expected. Naruto, I want you to guard this house while the rest of us go. Rin said in a serious tone. Naruto then looks at Rin in slight disbelief but was able to maintain composure. Why, sensei? Naruto asked. Yeah, Rin, why would you give Naruto an order like that? Anko asked. Rin had expected the questions and say it out. I am doing this because it would be stupid of us to send our entire team there. Plus, with Gato having control over the country, he could easily find this house and attack it. Leaving Naruto here is the best option. Rin explained. But why Naruto-sensei? Yakumo asked. I am choosing Naruto because we have 3 elite shinobi out there with hundreds of men. Somi and Anko can't be here guarding and the two of you aren't strong enough on your own yet. Rin said. Hearing this made Satsuki and Yakumo lower their heads and frown, but I knew it to be true. Now that it is all settled, let's go. Rin said as everyone aside from Naruto had left with Tazuna to go to the bridge. I'll probably just leave a shadow clone here and head over there. Naruto thought before he sat on the couch. Let's see how this will go. Naruto said to himself as he prepared himself for what's to come. Rin, Anko, Satsuki, Yakumo, Tazuna and some of his men were all at the bridge. All members of Team 12 were standing guard while Tazuna and his men continued to work on the bridge. Tazuna then walks up to Rin and Anko as he prepares to ask a question. Do you really believe Zabuza is alive and going to kill me? Tazuna asked in a worried voice. It's just an assumption, Tazuna, but I am sure that Zabuza is alive and heading right to our location as we speak. Rin said. I see. Tazuna said as he lowered his straw hat. I must go and warn my men of what is to come. Tazuna said as he headed to all of his men and informed them all of what could happen in the near future. And as expected, all the bridge builders had gotten scared and ran back home with fear of losing their and their families' lives. Should have known that would happen. Tazuna said to himself. Satsuki and Yakumo. I am getting scared, Satsuki. Yakumo said as she shivered in fear and looked around the area. Satsuki then sighs and turns her head towards Yakumo. I know, Yakumo. I am scared too, but we agreed to go on this mission and we both knew of the consequences as well. Being scared is no longer an option now as we will have to fight tough opponents and free this country. Satsuki said to Yakumo. Hearing Satsuki's words calmed Yakumo down and made her swallow up her fear and act determined. You're right, Satsuki. I can't afford to be scared right now. Yakumo said as she slapped herself on the cheek. Satsuki nodded and looked to the sea. I wonder when they are gonna show up? Satsuki asked herself as she gripped the railing. Rin and Anko. I can sense them coming, Anko. Rin said as she felt the chakra signatures of 3 individuals. To Rin they were no doubt to be Zabuza Mochi, Amayuri Ringo, and Haku. I can sense them too, Rin. Anko said. Go warn the other 2, Anko. Rin said as she got a nod from Anko. Hey brats. Anko yelled and made everyone wince. The opponents are almost here, so prepare yourselves. Anko yelled. Satsuki and Yakumo. Right. Satsuki and Yakumo said as they ran towards their senseis and prepared for battle. Zabuza, Amayuri, and Haku. We're almost there. Zabuza said as they neared the end of the bridge. I can't wait to face off against that brat again, Amayuri said excitedly. Haku on the other hand remained emotionless and prepared to kill anyone that got in Zabuza's way. Team 12, looks like they're here, Anko said with a smirk. In front of Team 12 stood Zabuza, Amayuri, and Haku who were walking through the mist. Now we can battle to our heart's content, Zabuza said as he pulled out Kabikira Bocho. Anko pulled out her sword and got into a fighting stance. Rin pulled out 2 kunais and looked at Amayuri. Satsuki and Yakumo prepared as they both looked at Haku. Wait a minute, where the hell is the blonde brat? Amayuri yelled in dissatisfaction. Sorry Amayuri, but you won't get to see him today, so you will be fighting me instead. Rin said. Don't tell me he got scared and ran off. Amayuri yelled. Does it matter? Rin said as the two then charged at each other. Anko versus Zabuza. Anko and Zabuza jumped to the start of the bridge as they prepared to fight. This will be a battle to the death, Zabuza stated. Of course it will, Anko said. Slice through the mist, Kabikiri, slither away, hubby, both shinobi yelled out. A large mist began to surround the two while Anko whipped around her poisonous snake. Now, they both yelled as Zabuza charged at Anko and tried to bypass her defense. All my senses have been shut off, but there should not be a way for Zabuza to bypass my defenses, Anko thought to herself as she whipped around her shikai. Satsuki and Yakumo versus Haku. Stand back Yakumo and draw up a genjutsu, Satsuki ordered as she charged towards Haku preparing the jutsu. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Satsuki yelled as a large fireball came flying towards Haku. Haku quickly dodges and appears in front of Satsuki and kicks her towards Yakumo as the two girls ended up crashing into each other and falling back. How is that guy so fast? Satsuki asked as she couldn't even react or see his movements. That hurts, Yakumo said as she tried to get up. Oh sorry, Satsuki said as she got up and helped up Yakumo. So Satsuki, how are we going to defeat that guy? Yakumo asked. Satsuki was now in deep thought as she tried to think of a way for the two of them to defeat Haku. Yakumo, can you draw a thunderbolt striking him? Satsuki asked. Yakumo then looked at Satsuki with a frown. I can try Satsuki, but you will have to buy me some time, Yakumo said. Satsuki then nodded and ordered Yakumo to run away. Now let's see how well you deal with this, Satsuki said as she threw multiple kunais with paper bombs on them to detonate. Once thrown at Haku, Satsuki waits until the kunais get close enough to do damage. But it all ended in vain when Haku grabbed all of the kunais and threw them all back to Satsuki. What the hell? Satsuki thought as she saw all her kunais coming towards her. Satsuki then barely dodges as she was able to get away before the kunais could detonate and do massive damage to her. In the end all she got was a little burn mark on her arm. If that didn't work then Yakumo is the only one that can defeat him now, Satsuki thought. Give it up and go home child, Haku said. This makes Satsuki widen her eyes due to his voice. If you and your friend leave, then I will spare you both and let you live. But if you refuse then I will have no choice but to kill you, Haku said in a threatening voice. So what will it be? Haku asked. Satsuki then grits her teeth before using an smoke bomb to get away. Any minute now Yakumo, Satsuki said as she ran towards Yakumo. Satsuki and Yakumo then catch up, but before they could move any further, Haku was now in front of them both. So you choose death, Haku said as before he could use his senbon needles, a large lightning bolt strikes him and damages him badly. Satsuki then looks at Yakumo in shock as she couldn't believe how badly Haku got hurt. How did you damage him so badly Yakumo? A chunin like him should not be able to take that much damage from lightning, Satsuki asked as she knew how much damage and heat the average shinobi could handle. Although you may be right Satsuki, the lightning bolt I made was 500,000 degrees Fahrenheit, so it is many times hotter and more powerful than a regular lightning bolt. You can really do that Yakumo? Satsuki asked in disbelief. The power to turn fantasy into reality would be a terrifying ability to have if Yakumo could master her Kekkei Genkei. Although, the more wild, complicated, and powerful my drawings become, the more chakra I will need to use in order to make it come true, so there are limits I guess, Yakumo said with a smile. That's incredible Yakumo, Satsuki said as she and Yakumo began to hug each other tightly. But what the two did not realize is that while the two girls were having a moment, Haku had gotten behind the two. Ice style. Crystal ice mirrors, Haku yelled as 100 ice mirrors surrounded the three and made a dome. What the? Satsuki and Yakumo thought out loud. You should have ended me when you had the chance. Now that I know that you can draw anything into reality, best believe I won't give you the chance to do so. Haku said as she looked at both girls. Rin and Amayuri. The two had been trading blows with each other and neither of them seemed to be backing down. This is starting to get boring, so let's turn it up a notch. Amayuri said as she raised her two swords into the air and made the tips of them touch. Shock all to death, Denki, Amayuri yelled as she and her was now beginning to get covered in large amounts of electricity. This is my Shikai Rin Nohara. Amayuri said proudly. I was going to save this for the brat, but I guess I will have to settle for you then. Amayuri said. Explanation. Amayuri Ringo's Shikai covers her body in electricity that is hotter than the sun's surface. Anyone that gets hit with her Shikai will become paralyzed. Like for example, she slashes you on your right arm. Your right arm will then be paralyzed until the effects wear off. So to sum it all up, she becomes covered in electricity and anything she touches becomes paralyzed. Rin vs Yakumo. If this goes on, I am gonna have to use that jutsu. Rin said as she saw Amayuri charge at her. Well, no chance in backing out now. Rin said as she charged towards Amayuri as well. Fire style. Dragon flame bomb jutsu. Rin yelled out as a multiple dragon-like heads came out of her mouth and towards Amayuri. Is that all you got? Amayuri asked as she sliced through the jutsu with ease. Rin then jumps over Amayuri and makes another hand sign. Fire style. Fire shuriken jutsu. Rin yelled as multiple shurikens made of fire came down to Amayuri and made contact. Once the fire shurikens had made contact, Amayuri got sent back flying a bit. How weak, Amayuri said as she quickly kicks Rin in the stomach to send her flying into the ocean. Once in the ocean, both fighters charged at each other once more. Water style. Great whirlpool. Rin yelled as a giant whirlpool appeared in the ocean and began to suck Amayuri in. Not bad, Amayuri thought before she jumped in the air. Lightning style. Lightning dash jutsu. Amayuri said before a flash of lightning appeared and made its way towards Rin and sliced her. Ha, I got her. Amayuri said as she cut Rin into pieces. Rin then turned into a poof and disappeared. What the hell? Amayuri yelled before she felt something coming towards her. Water style. Great dragon jutsu. Rin yelled as a large dragon appeared from the ocean and came towards Amayuri. Lightning style. Thunder wave. Amayuri yelled as she made a wave of lightning towards Rin's dragon. The two jutsu then collide and make a large explosion to send them both flying. Anko vs Zabuza. The two were still in battle as Zabuza used his sword to bypass Anko's defense once more. It's pretty clear I am not getting anywhere right now, Zabuza said to himself. Zabuza, who was currently looking at Anko, who continued to whip her Shikai around to make an impenetrable defense. But I do have one trick up my sleeve I can use, Zabuza said as he charged towards Anko and made hand signs. Water style. Water prison jutsu. Zabuza said as he made a giant water prison to trap Anko and drown her. Anko then gets caught and begins to hold her breath. What the hell? Anko thought as she was now caught in the water prison jutsu. She had turned off her Shikai, the water prison shrinked, and Zabuza's Shikai had turned off as well. Now I will just wait until you drown. The others should be about done with their fights and you lose Anko Mitarashi, Zabuza said. Anko then glares at Zabuza and begins to worry about her team. Stay safe everyone, Anko thought, but don't worry Anko Mitarashi. I'll kill you so you don't have to end up in Gato's hands. I never liked the guy anyways and only did it for the money, Zabuza said. Anko then frowns and hopes that Rin can win her battle and help everyone else. Satsuki and Yakumo vs Haku. The two girls were caught in Haku's ice mirror jutsu and were in big trouble. Haku had injured Yakumo's arms so she couldn't draw and was now attacking them at speeds that would make the speed of light slow. This ain't good, Satsuki said as she tried to keep track of Haku's movements. As of the current moment, the two girls had been trapped and were at death's door. How the hell are we gonna get out of this? Satsuki thought as she began to think of ways to get out of Haku's mirrors. But before she could think any more, Haku appears behind her and kicks her into a mirror. Shit. Satsuki thought as she crashed into the mirror. How about I try fire style? Satsuki said as she weaved hand signs. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Satsuki yelled as a large fireball came out of her mouth and collided with multiple ice mirrors. Yes, Satsuki thought as she saw the fire burn away the ice mirrors. But her happiness toned down when she saw the ice mirrors regenerate back. Why the hell did that not work? Satsuki yelled in rage. Haku then comes from the mirrors and kicks Satsuki back to where she originally was. Satsuki groaned out as she got sent flying. Like I have told you. Give up now and I'll spare your lives. Your fire won't destroy my ice as long as I am in control. Haku said. Yakumo then gets up from the ground and screams. We can't give up. We made a promise to free this country and its people, so giving up now is something we just can't do. So don't ask us again to give up because we won't. We will beat you and your friends no matter what it takes. Ya hear. Yakumo yelled out. Yeah, she's right, ya know. We will win this and we will defeat you. Satsuki said as she got up. Very well then, Haku said as he charged towards the girls. Rin versus Amayuri. Damn it, I can feel that everyone is in danger. Rin said as she wiped some sweat off of her face. This is starting to get boring. Let's end this. Amayuri said. Yeah, let's end this. Rin said. The two women then launched powerful jutsus at each other at the same time. Water style. Great tsunami jutsu. Lightning style. Thunder. Both fighters yelled as a large tsunami was coming towards Amayuri and a thunderbolt prepared to hit Rin. Tazuna's house. Naruto was currently in his room as he laid in the bed. I should be out there right now, Naruto thought. He then heard a large noise coming downstairs. What could that be? Naruto said as he came downstairs. Downstairs is Tsunami being grabbed by three men and Inari trying to fight the thugs and let his mom go. Let her go, Inari yelled. Damn it kid, stop crying. One man said as he kicked Inari away. Inari. Tsunami yelled as she saw her son get kicked. She then tries to get out of the men's grip once more but keeps on failing. Stop struggling lady. Gato wants you and we will be having a great time with a MILF like you. One man said as she began to grope Tsunami. Yeah, we will be having a great time with you. Another man said as he spanked Tsunami and making her yelp in pain. Let go of her. Inari yelled as he got up and charged at the men. Inari then gets kicked back again and lands on the floor. Damn it, why am I so weak? Inari thought. Now let's go and fuck this bitch till the end of time. One man said as the three men then dragged Tsunami away. Let go of me. Tsunami yelled as she struggled to get out. No way lady. You belong to us now. One man said as he spanked Tsunami. Let go of my mom. Inari yelled as he charged towards the three thugs. Geez, this kid is annoying as hell. One man complained as he let go of Tsunami and punched Inari to the ground. Listen kid, your mom is now our property so we get to do what we want to her. Your mom will become a breeding stock for us and make sure all of Gato's men's desires are met. So unless you don't want to die, shut up and stop attacking us. The man threatened as he pulled out his sword. Please, don't hurt my son. Just take me and leave him alone. Tsunami pleaded. The thugs then smirked. You hear that brat? Your mother will be coming with us. We'll make sure to give you good brothers and sister to take care of. One of the men said before heading towards the door. Let's leave, the man said. All three men tried to leave before, one of them had a hole in his chest and fell to the ground. Huh, everyone said as they saw the man fall down to the ground. Who's there? One of the men said as he pulled out Shi's sword. Look behind you, Naruto said as the man turned around and got a kunai/Yoshi throat. Who the hell are you? The final man said as he pulled out his sword to fight. You're dead, Naruto simply said before grabbing the man's sword before he could react and slicing him vertically in half. The man's body then gets split in half and falls to the ground. Naruto then takes all the bodies and throws them outside. After that Naruto cleans the floor of blood and heads outside. Inari, you did good, Naruto said. Inari then looks baffled by Naruto's words and tries to deny. No, I am not Naruto. If it weren't for you, my mother would be captured by Gato and his men. All I could do was stand there and watch while she was taken away. Inari cried. You're right, you can't defeat Gato, Naruto stated bluntly. But you can gather up your village to fight against him, Naruto said before walking. What do you mean Naruto? How can I gather up my country to fight against Gato? Inari cried. You'll know what I mean when you do what I just said. Naruto said. I will leave a clone here with your mother and head out. Naruto said before he disappeared and headed towards the bridge. What does he mean? Inari asked in disbelief. Bridge. It was currently not looking good for Team 12 as Anko had been defeated, Satsuki and Yakumo were getting outclassed, and Rin was still fighting Amayuri. You should have turned back when you had the chance. Zabuza said. Haku was kicking Satsuki and Yakumo around like dolls and gave them no chance to fight back. Rin and Amayuri had just had their jutsus collide and got sent back because of it. So what now? Zabuza, Haku, and Amayuri asked. Naruto then appears out of nowhere and kicks Zabuza so hard that he gets sent flying into Haku's ice mirrors and crashes into Haku, which in turn shut off both of their jutsus. Sorry I am late, Naruto said as he carried Anko and teleported to Satsuki and Yakumo. Naruto. All three females yelled in joy as they all came up and hugged him tightly. Yeah, Naruto said as he hugged back all three. Rin vs Amayuri. Naruto. They both said in joy for different reasons. Zabuza and Haku. What the hell is that brat doing here? Zabuza thought as he got up. So he's here. Haku thought as he got up as well. Team 12, let me help you Yakumo. Naruto said as he set Yakumo down and used all of his knowledge on Yakumo. Naruto knows medical ninjutsu, everyone thought. After some time, Yakumo got healed and was now able to move her arm more freely now and was pretty healed. Thank you Naruto. Yakumo said as she jumped on Naruto and gave him a giant hug. Naruto then gets her off and the two stand up. You're welcome Yakumo, but we still have a battle to win. Naruto said and made everyone nod. Anko should fight Zabuza again while I help you guys fight the guy with the mask. Naruto said. What about Rin-sensei? Yakumo asked. Rin-sensei will be fine. Naruto said before everyone split off to fight their opponents. Now that Naruto is here, everything will be fine. Satsuki and Yakumo thought. Let's see how well you do brat. Anko said as the four of them confronted Zabuza and Haku. Let's go. Naruto said before he, Satsuki, and Yakumo charged at Haku while Zabuza and Anko do the same. And in the ocean Rin and Amayuri still had their battle. The bridge. Naruto, Satsuki, Yakumo and Anko were all on the bridge and staring intently at Zabuza and Haku. Rin and Amayuri on the other hand were in the ocean and staring at each other as well. Everyone with weapons in hand. Naruto, Satsuki, Yakumo, and Rin having kunais. Anko, Zabuza, and Amayuri have their zanpakutos. And Haku has his senbon needles. A second then goes by and suddenly everyone charges at each other. The Team 12 Genin charges at Haku, Anko charges at Zabuza, and Rin charges at Amayuri. Anko vs Zabuza. On the bridge, the two clashed with their zanpakutos. Both of them were out of their Shikai state and were now just clashing with their regular zanpakuto state. As time went on Anko began to have the upper hand due to her speed, reflexes, and size of her sword. Just a little more, Anko thought. Zabuza on the other hand was trying to get away when he realized he was being outmatched. This isn't good. If this keeps up I am gonna end up a dead man. Zabuza cursed to himself. Anko then continued her barrage of attacks until she managed to slice Zabuza's arm and giving her a chance to slice his chest. In doing so, this caused Zabuza to get launched back and get on one knee while bleeding heavily. Now I am going to end this. Anko yelled as she released her snakes to have Zabuza in a chokehold and keep him there till she kills him. Rin vs Amayuri. The two kunoichi have been clashing blows and both don't seem to be letting up anytime soon. I need to end this quickly. They both thought as they continued on. Water style. Water bullet jutsu. Rin yelled as many bullets of water came flying towards Amayuri. Amayuri then slashes the water bullets and charges toward Rin. Take this, Amayuri said as she kicked Rin to send her flying back. Rin yelled as she felt the impact of Amayuri's kick. Rin then lands on the ocean and clutching her stomach. I really need to be more careful, Rin said to herself as she felt the electrical shocks in her stomach. I need to end this quickly so I can fight that brat. Amayuri said as she looked at Rin. So I am going to kill you now. Amayuri said as she ran towards Rin. You won't be going anywhere near my Naruto, ya hear? Rin declared as she ran towards Amayuri as well. Team 12 vs Haku. Ice style. Crystal ice mirrors. Haku yelled as Team 12 is now surrounded in ice mirrors. Not this jutsu again. Satsuki and Yakumo thought in anger. What an interesting jutsu, Naruto thought as he looked around his surroundings. While looking around he sees how Satsuki and Yakumo are. So they must have fought against this jutsu before I got here. Naruto thought. Get ready you two, Naruto said as he saw Haku move through the mirrors. Satsuki and Yakumo then nodded and turned their backs to Naruto and prepared for Haku's attacks. So that guy must move through the mirrors and attack what's inside of it at high speeds. That must be how his jutsu works, Naruto thought as he looked around. Haku then comes out of a mirror to attack Yakumo. Rasengan, Naruto said as he pulled Yakumo's head down and charged his Rasengan towards Haku. What? Haku thought as she didn't expect for Naruto to be able to react and move that quickly. Haku then dodges the Rasengan and goes into a mirror. Naruto lets go of Yakumo's head and shuts off the Rasengan when Haku got into his mirrors. His speed is incredible, Naruto thought in amazement. Naruto then looks at his two teammates and gets worried. Those two are no match for him yet. Not only will I have to beat him, but I will also have to protect them as well. Naruto thought. Okay you two, out. Naruto said as he grabbed his teammates and quickly threw them out of the mirror domain. Hua hhhhhh. Both girls yelled as they got out of the domain. What the hell do you think you're doing Naruto? Satsuki yelled. Yeah, let us help you Naruto. Yakumo yelled. Stay out if this you two. Just watch and analyze the fight, Naruto said before he started to attack the mirrors. But, Satsuki wanted to say but stopped as it was pointless to continue on. And deep down, she felt relieved to have gotten out of Haku's ice mirrors. After trying every trick she could think of to get out, it had all ended in failure and made things hopeless for her. So now being out of the ice mirrors and seeing her teammate fight instead of her relieved and worried her at the same time. And on the other hand, Yakumo was completely worried about her teammate. Even when hit by a powerful lightning bolt, Haku had still kept on fighting like it was nothing. It also didn't help that Haku was toying with them even after being hit by lightning, so seeing her teammate fight Haku worried her to no end. Please stay safe Naruto, Yakumo yelled. Naruto then looks at Yakumo and nods. Haku then comes out of a mirror behind Naruto and throws Senbon needles at him. From behind Naruto said before dodging the attack and charging up a jutsu. Chakra gun, Naruto said as he raised his arm and finger to aim at Haku and release. What type of jutsu is that? Haku questioned as he saw Naruto make a ball of chakra from his finger and prepared to launch it. But whatever the case is, I must dodge it, Haku thought as he readied himself to dodge the jutsu. Naruto then releases the chakra gun as the jutsu heads straight for Haku. It's so fast, Haku thought as he tried to dodge the jutsu. I won't make it in time, Haku thought as he went at speeds faster than light to dodge the jutsu. Damn it, Haku said before he got hit with the jutsu and sent flying into one of his mirrors and heading inside of it. Although inside the mirror, the jutsu still kept up the effect as Haku was still being damaged for the next few seconds. Got him, Naruto simply said as he saw Haku get hit by his jutsu. From the looks of it, my jutsu should have done massive amounts of damage, Naruto thought, as he waited for Haku. Satsuki and Yakumo, incredible, was the only word they could think of as they realized that Naruto was able to fend off Haku. He was able to make that guy run away with ease. Satsuki thought with a hint of jealousy. Naruto is so awesome, Yakumo thought as she saw Naruto blast his jutsu. I wonder just how strong you truly are Naruto? Yakumo thought again as she sees what happens in the mirror domain. Naruto vs Haku. After being hit by Naruto's chakra gun, Haku has been on the ground as he took massive amounts of damage from Naruto jutsu. There's no way someone so young can be so strong. Just what are you? Haku said as he looked at Naruto from his mirrors. But whatever the case is, I can't let myself be hit like that again, Haku said as he slowly got up and prepared to strike again. Haku then begins to weave hand signs and release his jutsu. Ice style. Multi-ice shuriken, Haku yelled as multiple shurikens made of ice came from multiple windows. About time he attacked, Naruto thought before he began to dodge all the shurikens. When dodging the shurikens, Naruto had realized that if a shuriken comes into contact with you, It can begin to freeze what it touches in an instant. But as Naruto realized this, more and more shurikens were being thrown. I can either hold out until he runs out of chakra, or I can try and break out of this dome and attack from the outside. Naruto thought as he continued to dodge the onslaught of ice shurikens. Satsuki and Yakumo, "Be careful, Naruto," was what both Kunoichi were thinking as they watched Naruto dodging all the ice shuriken. Haku, "He's faster and more agile than I thought," Haku thought as he saw Naruto continuously dodge all of his attacks. "It's about time I used something else," Haku said as he weaved another hand sign. "Ice style. Ice swords," Haku said as he made 2 swords made of ice and prepared to charge at Naruto. "Here goes," Haku said as he came from the mirror behind Naruto and began to attack him. "There you are," Naruto said as he dodged Haku's slashes of attacks. "Shadow clone jutsu," Naruto said as 10 clones appeared and attacked Haku. "What the hell is this?" Haku thought as he saw multiple clones charging towards him. Haku then slices a couple clones and dodges the rest. "They don't seem to be that durable," Haku said as he continues to dodge the clones' attacks. Naruto was currently watching Haku fight hid clones as he prepared a Rasengan in hand and waited for an opening to strike. "One hit from my Rasengan and it should be over," Naruto thought as he waited for the perfect opportunity to strike. Satsuki and Yakumo, "Just how strong is he?" Satsuki thought as she watched Naruto fight Haku. "Naruto really is amazing," Yakumo said as she watched Naruto fight Haku. Naruto vs Haku. Haku had just finished cutting down the last clone as he was fighting. And once done, he sees Naruto attack him with his Rasengan. "Rasengan," Naruto said as he neared Haku. "What the?" Haku said before he brought up his 2 swords to block the attack. The 2 jutsus then collided and made a giant explosion big enough to destroy all the ice mirrors. Once the explosion had settled down and both fighters got up, they both looked around their surroundings. "My ice mirrors were destroyed?" Haku said in shock as he looked around to see his ice mirror domain destroyed. Naruto on the other hand looked content with his work and prepared to fight again. "Although I wasn't able to take that guy out, I at the very least was able to break the mirrors," Naruto thought to himself as he looked around to see broken pieces of ice on the ground. Satsuki and Yakumo, both girls could not move as they stood there in shock. Seeing their teammate destroy the ice mirrors and come out of an explosion with only a few scratches had put the two in a stupor. What?" was all Satsuki could say as she looked at Naruto. "Why yeah," Yakumo said as she looked at Naruto as well. "Who even is he?" were the thoughts of both girls as they looked at Naruto. Naruto vs Haku. "Fine then, how about this?" Haku said as he prepared a jutsu. "Ice style. Ice dragon jutsu," Haku yelled as a large ice dragon formed and charged at Naruto. "Rasengan blast," Naruto yelled as he shot his Rasengan and the 2 jutsus were now about to collide. "My jutsu will win," both fighters thought before their jutsus collided. The 2 jutsus then collide and cause another explosion. The 2 fighters then braced themselves for the explosion as the explosion headed their way. Explosion aftermath. After everything had settled down, Naruto had gotten up with his shirt and jacket now gone as he was shirtless. Haku was also up as his kimono and mask got destroyed. "Just how strong is he?" Haku thought as he looked at Naruto. Naruto then looks back at Haku to see his face. "So you finally revealed yourself," Naruto said calmly as he walked up to Haku. "So you knew this whole time, huh?" Haku said as he waited for Naruto to get closer. "You could say that," Naruto said as he finally stopped after being a few feet away from Haku. "I see," Haku said as he kinda smirked and looked away. "Now that I have lost my mask, what will we do now?" Haku asked. "Good question," Naruto said before he and Haku started to have a moment of silence. Satsuki and Yakumo. Naruto. Both girls yelled as they ran after their teammate. The both of them had kept on running until they saw Naruto and Haku. "Naruto," both girls said as they ran up to him but stopped when they saw an unmasked Haku. Who is that Satsuki?" Yakumo asked in a curious tone. "That must be the ice user we fought," Satsuki said as the 2 simply looked on to see what would happen next. "Naruto and Haku, if you don't mind, I would like to ask you something," Naruto said as he looked at Haku. Haku simply nods and waits for the question. "Why work for Gato?" From what I can tell, you don't seem to be a terrible guy. Naruto asked. Haku then contemplates on whether or not to answer the question. Well kid, the truth is that I don't want to. But you see, my home is in the middle of a civil war right now and me and my family need the funding to help our people win the war. Gato pays good money and we took the job. Haku simply said. So all of this is to help your people, huh? Naruto said and Haku nodded. Well, if that's the case, how about we work together? Naruto asked as he saw that the two could benefit from each other. And why would I do that? Haku asked. Well, my mission is to take down Gato and his men, so if you help me and my team take him down, I'll give you and your family the money, deal? Naruto said as he gave his reasoning. Haku then contemplates on what he just heard. On one hand, Naruto and his team were his enemies and that they needed to kill them, but on the other hand, Naruto was right in that the both of them could benefit from this. How about this, Naruto? If you defeat me, I'll agree to your deal, but if you don't then you will have to let me continue with my mission, deal? Haku said. Naruto simply nods and the two continue their fight. Rin vs Amayuri. The battle between the two kunoichis have not slowed down as the two continue their fight. With both fighters having taken some damage and their chakra depleting, it would only be a matter of time before this fight ended. I'll have no choice but to end this soon with that jutsu. Rin said as she emphasized on the last two words. Amayuri then points one of her swords at Rin and smiles. Although this had been fun, I am gonna have to end this so I can fight that brat. Amayuri said as she charged one last jutsu. Same goes for me, Rin said as she made a hand sign. You made me do this, Amayuri. Rin said as she made a hand sign. Domain expansion. Medical Goddess's Garden. Rin yelled as a giant domain covered both fighters. What the? Amayuri thought as she looked at her surrounds. Around her was a giant field covered in grass, bushes, flowers and more. The place was very sunny and had plants blooming. What is this place? Amayuri thought as she looked around. If you're wondering what this is then let me tell you. Rin said as she stood in front of a shocked Amayuri. This jutsu is called domain expansion and is a very difficult jutsu to learn. What this jutsu does is that it brings out the user's soul and traps the opponent in their domain. And with my domain, the longer you stay inside my domain the more health you will lose. And with your lost health, it can either go to me or the place around you and your surroundings might attack you on my command. I can absorb all your health completely dry till you become a rotten corpse decaying on the ground. Rin said. Domain expansion, huh? Now that I think about it, I have heard of this jutsu. It is said this jutsu was made to counter Bankei and is one of the hardest jutsus to master. So let's see what you can do? Amayuri said as she slowly started to feel her health draining. Agreed, Rin said as the two start attacking each other. Rin starts off by throwing a few shuriken at Amayuri and it actually hits. Due to Amayuri's health draining, she couldn't exactly move or react to attacks as she once used to. Damn it, Amayuri said as she got hit with the shurikens. I will have to be more careful from now on. Amayuri said as she pulled out the shurikens and walked towards Rin. Damn it, my body is too weak to run. Amayuri thought as she walked slowly. Now it's time to end this. Rin said. Fire style. Mini first ball jutsu. Rin yelled as many fireballs came out of her mouth and hit Amayuri. Ah! Amayuri yelled as she got hit by the fireballs. Now it's over, Rin said as she ended her domain before Amayuri would die. Once out of the domain, Rin quickly grabbed Amayuri before she fell into the ocean and jumped onto the bridge. Get some rest, Rin said as she laid Amayuri down before she went off to help her team. I won't ever forget you, Rin Nohara, Amayuri said before she passed out. Anko vs Zabuza. With Zabuza now at Anko's mercy, he began to try and find a way out. Damn it, I can't lose like this, Zabuza said as Anko got close to him. Sorry Zabuza, but this is the end, Anko said before she prepared to slice his throat. But before she could do so, Haku got sent flying past her. What the? Both a ranked shinobi thought. Naruto then ran past Anko and attacked Haku. Makes sense, Anko said before she saw Rin, Satsuki, and Yakumo running towards her. Hey Anko, Rin said as she waved at her friend. Hey Rin, I was just about to finish off Zabuza and Naruto looks to almost be done with the other guy. Once we're done here, we'll take down Gato, Anko said. Haku then appears behind Anko and prepares to strike her but is quickly intercepted by Naruto. You give up? Naruto asked as he kicked Haku back. No, Haku said, but before he could attack Naruto, he heard a laugh. Ha 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 ha. Gato laughed as he walked up to the group of shinobi with all of his men. Looks like you guys have failed Zabuza. Gato said as he began to laugh even more. Gato, what are you doing here? Zabuza said as he was still being held down by Anko. Well, I just came here to see you and try and kill you. Once you were weakened, I would kill you and I wouldn't have to pay you. Gato said before he cackled again. What? Zabuza and Haku said as they found out they were going to be betrayed and killed. Yep, but it looks like I will be getting more than just some deaths and saved up money. Gato said as he began to eye up Rin, Anko, Satsuki, and Yakumo. Gato and his men then licked their lips and grinned. Those girls will be incredible to my collection, don't you think, men? Gato said as all his men cheered and began to think of all the things they would do to them. Then let's get out prizes. I'll personally be taking the black-haired girl. I'd love to hear her scream and break her. Gato said as he pointed at Satsuki. Seeing this, Satsuki becomes afraid and angry as she saw how Gato was looking at her, and now she unintentionally unlocked her Sharingan. There's no way I am going with you. Satsuki yelled in anger with her Sharingan flaring. A Sharingan. Naruto, Anko, Rin and Zabuza thought as they looked at her. Ooh, she also has the Sharingan. Not only is she hot and young, but she is also from a noble clan and worth a lot of money. Gato said as he became even more interested in Satsuki. Let's get those girls. Gato ordered as all of Gato's men charged at the shinobi. Anko had let go of Zabuza and looked at him. I guess your mission has ended. Anko said. Zabuza then gets up and grabs his sword. I guess it has. Gato will pay for this. Zabuza said angrily as he charged at Gato's men and slaughtered them. Naruto and Haku. I don't really have to say anything, do I? Naruto said as he looked at Haku. You're right, Haku said before the both of them charged at Gato's men and attacks them. Anko and Rin. Let's go, Anko. Rin said as she launched out jutsus at Gato's men. Yeah, and the two of you stay back. Anko ordered as she looked at Satsuki and Rin. Satsuki and Rin. There is no way I am standing back. Satsuki said as she charged at Gato. That bastard is going to die. Satsuki yelled out as she sliced through Gato's men with ease. Wait, Satsuki. Yakumo said as she followed Satsuki. Satsuki in her rage had not heard Yakumo and continued to slice up and kill everyone in her way. That bastard is gonna pay. Satsuki thought as she killed more of Gato's men while her Sharingan was active. Naruto. She's killing them all so effortlessly. Naruto said to himself as while he fought Gato's men, he was also looking at Satsuki. It must be because of her Sharingan. With that Sharingan, she is able to react to attacks faster and see several seconds into the future. Naruto thought as he continued his attacks. Rin and Anko. While killing Gato's men, they were also looking at Satsuki. Rin was about to go over to Satsuki but was stopped by Anko. Don't, Rin, she would need to learn this sooner or later. Anko said as she stopped her friend. Although Rin didn't want to admit it, it was true and this would only be for the best. I just hope she's alright. Rin thought before she fought off Gato's men. Gato. How the hell are they doing this? I want all the males dead and the females stripped and collared. Gato ordered as he watched his men getting slaughtered. Yes sir, Lord Gato. All of Gato's remaining men yelled as they all ran towards the shinobi. Naruto. It's about time I ended this. Naruto thought. All of you get back. Naruto said as he fought off Gato's men. Zabuza, Rin and Anko nodded but Satsuki continued her attacks while Yakumo tried to stop her. Rin and Anko then got Yakumo to get back before knocking out Satsuki and carrying her back. The two kunoichi then nodded at Naruto to do what he planned. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto said as he made 100 clones. Rasengan. Naruto yelled as Naruto and all of his clones killed Gato's men with their Rasengans and killing everyone aside from Gato. What the hell was that? Everyone thought as they saw Naruto create 100 clones and kill Gato's men. Naruto then turns around and looks at everyone as he knew what they were thinking. I'll tell you all later, now all that is left is Gato. Naruto said as everyone then cornered Gato. Now you will pay for your crimes and injustices, Gato. Anko said as she prepared to kill Gato with her sword. But before she could do so, she was stopped by loud voices and many footsteps. "Allow us to give judgment, Anko," Inari yelled as all of the people from the Land of Waves had came to defeat Gato and his men. Inari, Naruto and Anko thought as they looked at the boy. "You said it yourself, Naruto. Me and this country will be a part of what makes it great again. So please allow us to kill him and take back our home," Inari yelled. Naruto then looks at Inari and the townspeople. "You should have expected this, kid," Kurama said as he saw what was happening. "I know that, furball," Naruto said before he spoke again. "Then go ahead, I won't stop you. But do make sure to have him reveal his base of operations and take his money," Naruto said before he and everyone moved aside to have the people of the Land of Waves take back all their years of suffering. "Tazuna, they're all here. They're all here," Tazuna said over and over in shock as he would have never expected to see his family and home fight back against Gato. "I must thank that Naruto kid. He's the cause of all this," Tazuna thought as he looked at the blonde Tsunami standing beside her son. She for the first time in years felt hope. She had hope in Naruto and his team to win. And now that hope had finally paid off as her Naruto had won and her home could now take back what they had lost. "I might consider going with him after this," Tsunami thought as she looked at Naruto. "Gato, no way. This can't be happening. I can't lose like this," Gato said in shock as he saw all of the people he had tormented and tortured for years. "I have to get away from here," Gato thought as he tried to crawl away. But before he could move any further, Naruto had been standing right behind him and waiting for Gato to leave. "Stay," Naruto said menacingly as he stared into Gato's soul. And with that one look, it had made Gato frozen in fear as the army of civilians came near him. "Inari and Land of Waves. Now you're gonna pay for everything you have done," Inari said before he and everyone behind him tortured Gato to death. I am sorry. I am sorry. Gato said over and over as he got beaten to death. In the end, Gato had died and the country was now free. With hopes now restored, families returned, the poor now being financially stable with Gato's money and bridge being built. Everyone was now together again as they were now free. Although it took a week for the bridge to finish building, with the help of Team 12 and the people, it had finished and now the Land of Waves had a bridge that connected to the main land. "Tazuna, now that the bridge is all finished, what should we name it?" Tazuna asked out loudly as many people gave their suggestions. "How about Victory Bridge?" one civilian said. "No way, it should be Freedom Bridge," another civilian said before everyone began to argue about what the bridge name should be. "How about the Great Naruto Bridge?" Inari suggested. "Yeah, that is an amazing name, Inari," Tsunami said as she agreed with her son. Slowly after that, everyone began to agree as people now chanted to name the bridge after Naruto. "Nice job, stud. A bridge named after you," Anko teased as although they helped build the bridge, she, Rin and Tsunami had every night. "Yeah, Naruto. This is amazing," Rin congratulated. "I am so happy for you, Naruto." Yakumo cheered as she smiled brightly. Satsuki merely smiled and didn't say anything. "Thank you everyone," Naruto said as he looked on at the bridge. "Well, now that it is all settled, the bridge will be named the Great Naruto Bridge," Tazuna announced as everyone then erupted into cheers. "Now that we are all done here, we really must leave," Rin announced. Hearing this made the country look down in sadness as they wanted for the team to stay for longer. "Do you guys really have to leave?" Inari asked as he looked at Naruto. Naruto then looks at Inari and sighs. "Yes, we do, Inari. We can't stay here any longer and we must go back home," Naruto said. Inari then nods sadly. "Well, make sure you come back someday," Inari said. "Hopefully," Naruto simply said before he and his team prepared to leave. "Wait, Naruto," Tsunami said as she had packed her bags and belongings. Naruto said as he looked at Tsunami. "Let me come with you like we promised," Tsunami said as she prepared to leave as well. Satsuki and Yakumo yelled in shock. Most of the country was also shocked as they heard Tsunami's words. Well, most except for Tazuna and Inari, who already knew along with Rin and Anko. "Are you sure, Tsunami? What about your family?" Naruto asked. "Well, we talked it over and they agree that I should go with you," Tsunami said. "Okay then let's go," Naruto said as he and his team along with Tsunami walked back home. With them waving back as everyone waved them goodbye, they all returned home with huge smiles on their faces. Flashback. It was a day before the bridge finished building as Team 12 has met with Zabuza, Haku and a fully healed Amayuri. So where will you all go now? Naruto asked as he looked at the three. Well kid, I guess we will just go around the world and try to get fundings to help our home. Zabuza said. Yeah brat, and don't you think I forgot about our fight? The next time we fight, I'll crush you and Rin. Amayuri said as she looked at Naruto. I am looking forward to it. Naruto said before he looked at Haku. I hope we meet again Haku. Naruto said as he extended a hand for a handshake. Haku then shakes his hand and nods. I hope so to Naruto. Haku said as they shook hands. Wait, if you all are trying to help your village because of the Mist War, I suggest not. Rin said. The three Mist Shinobi then look at Rin confused. Why not Rin Nohara? Zabuza asked. Well, the Mist Civil War ended not too long ago and the Yagura the 4th Mizukage has been defeated and killed. Rin said. What? All three Mist Shinobi yelled in shock. Yep, and apparently there is a new Mizukage too. Rin said. Do you know who it is? Zabuza quickly asked. I believe her name was Mei Terumi. Rin said. Then we need to return home now. Zabuza said. It was great meeting you all, but we had to go now. Zabuza said as he went off. Goodbye. Amayuri and Haku said before they left as well. You know, for some reason, I feel as if we will meet them again. Anko said as she put a hand on Rin's shoulder. This made everyone nod and agree with it. Yes. Flashback over. Now with everything all finished, the 6 people now head home and await for their next adventure. Team 12 and Tsunami were nearing Konoha as they are headed home. We're nearing Konoha. Anko yelled as they saw the village up ahead. Finally, everyone thought. After that, Team 12 and Tsunami are finally in Konoha and head over to the guards to identify themselves. Team 12 has finally returned to Konoha. Anko states as she and Team 12 hand over her ideas. Okay then, and who is she? Izumo states as he points at Tsunami. She is with us and to become a citizen of Konoha. Rin says. Okay then, well, we are truly glad you guys are back. To be honest, the entire village got worried when you came home later than expected. Katetsu said as Izumo nodded. Well, we're sorry for making you all worried. Some unexpected things came up that delayed our return. Rin said. Well, head on to Hokage Tower. I am sure he would love to hear from you all. Izumo said as Team 12 and Tsunami nodded and headed towards Hokage Tower. Hokage Tower. Lord Hokage. Team 12 has returned from their mission. Minato's secretary said. Minato immediately looks up at his secretary. Really? Minato said in a hopeful voice as he had been worried for his son and student not returning home as expected and spending nearly 2 weeks on the mission. The secretary merely nods and sends Team 12 and Tsunami in. Hello Minato-sensei. Team 12 is here to report our mission. Rin said in a serious tone. Well, I am glad you all are back from your mission. The village has been worried about you all for a few days now. And who are you? Minato states as he points at Tsunami. Well, Minato-sensei, she is from the land of waves and wants to become a citizen of Konoha. I assure you that she is no threat. Rin said as she defended her new friend. Okay then, but for that to happen, she will need to pass through some tests and find a place to stay. Who will she be staying with? Minato asks. She will be staying with me, sensei. Rin answered. Minato nods. So report your mission. Minato says. Well, that is a long story, sensei. Rin said as everyone nodded. Well, explain to me in full detail. Minato says seriously. Okay then, you start Anko. Rin quickly said. Seriously. Anko deadpans while Rin chuckles a bit. Well, where to begin? It started off as a normal mission until we ran into the demon brothers from the hidden mist village Lord Hokage. Anko starts off. What? Minato yelled. How could you be so irresponsible and put your genin in danger? Minato yells. With Anko and Rin expecting this, they sighed. If the Hokage got mad over B-rank shinobi, wait until he hears the rest. Naruto seeing this decides to step in. It was my choice to continue. Not theirs. Naruto said defiantly. This takes everyone aback as they never heard of Naruto speaking in that tone. So if you want someone to blame, blame me. Naruto said. Satsuki and Yakumo, seeing what Naruto did, stepped up as well. It wasn't just Naruto, Lord Hokage. I did it too. Both girls said in unison. Everyone is now shocker than before as they never expected for the genin to stand up against the Hokage. Minato, seeing the genin, nods slowly and gulps. Continue on, Anko. Minato says. Well, after running into the demon brothers, we quickly defeated the both of them and moved on. But during that fight, we realized that they were targeting Tazuna and we wanted to know why. When asked why, he says that his country was being ruled and that Gato had sent assassins to kill him. And if you're wondering why he paid for a C rank, it's because he didn't have the money for a higher rank mission. Anko finished. I see. Give me more. Minato says. I'll take it from here, Anko. Rin says. After talking with Tazuna, we decided to continue on with the mission. But before we could even reach the ports, we ran into two A-ranked shinobi and an unknown shinobi. Rin said. Now there's no excuse for you all to have continue. You saw two A-ranked shinobi and an unknown and decided to continue. The moment they showed up, you should have quit the mission and not endangered your genin. Minato yells as he shakes the entire village with his yelling. It was our decision to continue on. Naruto yelled at Minato. Everyone once again gets taken aback by Naruto. I wanted to continue on. I wanted to finish the mission. So stop yelling already, it's annoying as hell. Naruto says. Minato then calms down and nods for Rin to continue. Well, I believe that the genin should head home. They have had a long day. I am sure their families will be worried. Rin said. Minato nods as Naruto, Satsuki and Yakumo head out of the room. Team 12. I wonder why Sensei wanted us to leave. Yakumo said. Well, whatever the case is, I am glad to be able to go home. Satsuki said as she yawned. So where are you going, Naruto? Yakumo asked. Home. Naruto simply said as he walked towards Rin and Anko's apartment. Well, I will see you all tomorrow. Naruto said as he waved his two teammates goodbye. Naruto is really quiet, isn't he? Yakumo said. Yeah, a little too quiet if you ask me. He's even more stoic than some of my clan members. And everyone knows how stoic an Uchiha can be. Satsuki said, which made Yakumo nod. Well, I'll say Naruto is getting better, Satsuki. Yakumo said. Yeah, Satsuki agreed. Well, I have to go home, Satsuki. Goodbye. Yakumo said as she ran home. Satsuki also heads home as she has a thought on her mind. Rin Sensei told me I should talk to my parents about what happened and that I unlocked my Sharingan. I wonder how they will react. Satsuki thought as she headed home. Hokage office. Naruto really did all that? Minato said in shock as he heard about Naruto's fights on the bridge. Yes, Minato Sensei. Naruto did everything I told you he did. But I do have to ask Sensei. Naruto is very different from you and Kushina Sensei. His jutsus are different, his taijutsu is different, his moves are different and his personality is nothing like the both of you. Do you know who trained him? Rin asked. Minato then looks down in regret and sighs. No, Rin, I don't know. But can you promise me that you and Anko will take care of him? Minato asks. Of course we will. Rin and Anko said in unison. Now you're dismissed. Minato said as the three women left the room and went home. Minato also decides to head home once he finishes his paperwork. Uchiha house. Satsuki has just returned home and was quickly greeted by her worried family. Where have you been, sweetie? Makoto cried out as she hugged her daughter. Fugaku and Itachi also showed their concerns as they anxiously waited for their daughter to return home. Are you okay, Satsuki? Itachi asked. Yeah, I am fine. Now can you get off, Mom? Satsuki said. Makoto decides to ignore her daughter and continues to hug her. I have something to show you all. Satsuki screamed. This shut everyone up and made Makoto stop hugging her daughter. What do you have to show, Satsuki? Fugaku asked curiously. Look, Satsuki said as she closed her eyes and showed off her one Tomo Sharingan. Seeing this made her family go into shock. With Fugaku and Itachi becoming impressed and proud, Makoto becoming happy and hugging head daughter, and Sasuke being jealous. Congratulations, Satsuki. I am so proud of you. Makoto cried out. Congratulations, daughter. You have made the Uchihas proud. Fugaku said as he rubbed his daughter's head. Good job, Sasuke. Itachi said. Sasuke on the other hand looked at Satsuki with hat RWD and jealousy. I should be the one with a Sharingan. Not her. Sasuke thought in rage. Sasuke then runs up to his room and closes the door. His family on the other hand began to prepare for a party. Kurama house. Yakumo had just returned home and was welcomed by her family. Her family then celebrates her first mission outside the village. Uzumaki Namikaze household. Minato Namikaze had just returned home. In the living room sat Kushina, Narumi, Mito, Menma, Naruko, Natsu, Kakashi, Shizune and the Sannin. "Dad!" All of his children aside from Naruko yelled. They saw how tired and distraught he looked as everyone looked at him in worry. "What's wrong, Dad?" Narumi asked in worry. The kids and Kushina then guide Minato to the couch. "Let me get you some worry, Minato," Kushina said as she got up to get some water. Kushina then comes back with water and makes Minato drink it. "Now what's wrong, honey?" Kushina asked. "What's wrong, sensei?" Kakashi asked. "Who did this to you, Dad?" Natsu asked enraged as he was getting ready to kill whoever did this. He, Kakashi, Menma, and Jiraiya were ready to kill. Tsunade then checks on Minato. He's just tired and distraught. "Nothing else," Tsunade says. Everyone then sighs in relief. "So what's up with you, Minato?" Jiraiya asked. "Well, Team 12 has just returned from their mission," Minato says slowly. "Isn't that Naruto's team?" Shizune asked. Minato nods and this makes everyone widen their eyes at the mention of Naruto's name. "Naruto has returned home?" Kushina asked as Minato nodded. "What happened, Dad? Is he okay?" Naruko said in worry. "Yeah, I think he's fine," Minato said. This made Naruko relieved. "So what happened, Dad?" Mito asked. "Well, Team 12 has just returned later than expected. But during the mission they ran into some trouble," Minato said. Hearing this made some worry about Naruto. "What happened next, honey?" Kushina asked as she was worried about her son. They first faced the demon brothers of the mist and then they ran into Zabuza Momochi and Amayuri Ringo, Minato said. Hearing this shocked everyone as they never expected Naruto to be able to run into two dangerous shinobi. "Who are they, Dad?" Narumi asked. Zabuza Momochi and Amayuri Ringo are two members of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. The 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist are the 7 greatest swordsmen in their village and some if the greatest of all time, Minato said. Hearing this made Narumi nod slowly as she now understood how dangerous they were. "What happened next, Dad?" Naruko said quickly. "Well, they fought and Naruto was able to hold his own against Amayuri Ringo and was able to defeat Zabuza's apprentice. He also got a bridge named after him." Minato finished as what he said shocked everyone. What? Kasahina said. "Yeah, it surprised me too. Naruto also defeated hundreds of Gato's men and has used jutsus no one has ever seen of," Minato said and made everyone shocked even more. "So you're telling me Rin and Anko continued a mission with 2 A-rank shinobi?" Kushina yelled. Minato nods slowly as Kushina gets up. "I thought I taught those two better but I guess not," Kushina yelled as she was prepared to teach Rin and Anko a lesson. But luckily she was able to be calmed down by everyone. "So Naruto is that strong, huh?" Mito said. "Yeah, he's even stronger than I thought," Narumi said. "There's no way that bastard is that strong. I am the strongest genin, not him." "You have to be lying, Dad," Menma yelled enraged. "No, son, I am not lying. Naruto really did all those things. Why would Rin and Anko lie about Naruto's strength?" Minato said. This shut Menma up as he sat down and pouted. "Although you may have gotten stronger, I am still way stronger than you'll ever be. Have fun with your victory before I take it from you," Menma said. "Naruto." The Sannin thought as they tried to remember Naruto. But in the end they couldn't think of anything as they never spent time with him. So now all three felt regret and wanted to make up to him. Shizune and Naruko on the other hand felt really proud of Naruto. Proud that he became so strong. But Narumi quickly frowned as she realized he did this without her or her family's help. "Soon, Naruto. Soon I will be able to confess to you," both girls thought. Natsu was currently enraged at how quickly Naruto had grown. Not even he had gotten that strong as he was able to take on an A-ranked ninja. "You'll pay for this, Naruto," Natsu thought. Next was Kakashi as he didn't know what to think. He never spent any time with Naruto as he believed his siblings were better. So hearing Naruto be able to take on strong opponents not even his siblings can take on was a shock. "Just how strong are you, Naruto?" Kakashi thought. Finally there was Kushina. She felt worried and proud of her son. She was proud to hear of what he did. Proud of how strong he became. But that was short-lived as she remembered what she had done. She had regretted her actions and wanted to know why she would do such a thing. Why was she a terrible mother? Why did she neglect Naruto? How did he become so strong without her help? That question made her sadden even more. The fact her son became so strong without her or his family made her depressed. Will you ever forgive me, Naruto? No, I'll make sure you forgive no matter what. I'll do whatever it takes to have you love me again. Kushina finished. After that, everyone went off to do their own things and prepared for tomorrow. Naruto. Well, here I am, Naruto said as he opened Anko's door. Once in, he begins to take a shower and rest for the day after. Anko, Rin, Tsunami. Alright Tsunami. You will be living with Rin, okay? Anko said. Tsunami nods as she walks with her new friends. So how long does it take for someone to get citizenship in Konoha? Tsunami asked. Well, it depends, Tsunami. It depends on how well you do, but it usually takes about 1 month to get citizenship here. Anko said. Tsunami said as they neared their apartment. Just make sure you do well, Tsunami. Rin said. After that, all three went in and rested after the long mission. That's all for now. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments.